My Best Friends Live in the Woods. The Adventures of Albert by Anne Michelle Moracek.
Chapter 19, Tra-la-lee. I love color. Albert smiled. Gabby and George were walking with Albert, headed down to the stream. The bunny twins carried an empty bucket between them by its arched metal handle. It bumped and jostled as they went, catching here and there on a twig or rock that jutted up along the path. "You guys better be careful," Albert warned. "You'll knock a hole in the pail, and then your mama will be angry with you." "Okay, fine." George rolled his eyes as he lifted his side a bit higher. Usually, Mrs. Rabbit carried the bucket, but today she sent the twins for the first time. The trip to fill the bucket for Mother Skunk was a daily task. As they were 24 children, Albert didn't have his turn very often. He, too, carried a bucket Mother Skunk had sent him to fill. "So, why do you love colors?" Gabby mused on Albert's comment. The great creator could have made the world all black and white, and we would have never known the difference. But instead, we see glorious colors. Albert's face glowed with the wonder of the thought. "What's your favorite color?" George asked. "Mine is pink," Gabby said with gusto. Albert thought for a bit. "I love all colors, but my favorite is purple. I love a deep purple sky at sunset. I love the deep purple of the lilacs and even the flash of purple on the feathers of the hummingbirds." His expression was soft and dreamy. "Do you have a favorite color?" Albert asked George as they continued bumping along with their pails. "Sure, it's red," George smiled. "Interesting how we all seem to have a favorite," Albert mused. "Color's something I tend to take for granted," George confessed. "I never really think about it much. It just is." "Yes, but it could just as easily be just not," Albert smiled. "You think of the oddest things," Gabby teased. As they approached the stream, the three busied themselves with the task at hand. Albert helped the bunnies tip the edge of their bucket into the glistening flow of the stream. The sun played a sparkling dance of ripples along the stream surface as it spilled into the waiting bucket. Then Albert filled the kitchen bucket Mother Skunk had tasked him with. "Ready?" Albert asked the bunnies. The twins nodded. The task of trudging the now heavy pail back up the hill proved to be too much for the twins. "Oh dear!" Gabby sat down, twitching her nose in a bit of a panic. Just then, they heard the rapid clip of hooves and a tiny wahoo fast approaching. The three jumped, startled. "What the heck?" George leapt to his feet. Bounding through the undergrowth of the forest, they saw Mother Deer running toward them with a tiny sparrow perched on her back. The bird was clutching on for the ride of his life, enthusiastically yelling, "Faster! Wahoo!" Albert jumped up and waved his arms in their direction. "Wait up!" he yelled. Mother Deer heard him and came to such an abrupt stop that the sparrow splattered headlong onto the back of her neck. "Oh, sorry, Tidal," Mother Deer apologized. "Albert, is that you?" she called over. "Yes, can you come over and give us a hand?" "Whatever are you doing?" Mother Deer inquired as she stepped over for a closer look. There were Gabby and George plopped down beside a mostly full water pail, looking very distressed indeed. "It's just too heavy," Gabby said with a sob. "Oh, don't cry, little one," Mother Deer said in her most comforting tone. "We will figure something out." Tidal, who was rubbing his head and recovering, was sizing up the situation. Who do you suppose we could get to help carry the bucket? Mother Deer asked Albert.
I have an idea,
Tidal chirped.
how about Tommy Red Fox?
The bunny twins shot each other a frightened look and began to hop around nervously. Oh, no, better not a fox, they worried. Mother Rabbit says to hide from the fox family. Mother Deer was deep in thought. Perhaps, and yet he is tall and strong enough to carry the pail. Albert, seeing the great distress of Gabby and George, cautioned that perhaps they could come up with an alternate plan. But they all sat and tried to think of a plan B, and there was silence all around. Growing impatient, Tidal hopped off Mother Deer's back and stepped in front of the group.
I'm flying over to ask Tommy Red Fox if he has had his dinner,
Tidal chirped. Whatever for? Mother Deer nosed her little passenger.
because if he is quite full, perhaps the twins will persuade him to help.
And without waiting for a reply, Tidal flew off. Gabby and George continued to hop about in nervous confusion. What shall we do? George whispered wide-eyed, and Gabby started to cry again. Why don't you two hide when Tommy Red Fox comes, if he comes? I'll tell him both pails are mine, and I'm delivering one to Mother Rabbit. Not waiting to be asked twice, Gabby and George bounded off to hide in the thicket. As they peeked out, their noses twitched wildly. Soon after, Tidal flew back and landed once again on Mother Deer's back. So, is he coming? Tidal asked of Tidal.
Is who coming?
Tidal chirped. Tommy Red Fox, of course. Is he coming?
Oh, not sure.
Tidal bobbed his head. Well, did you ask him? Albert pressed.
Sure,
Tidal chirped. Well, what did he say? Albert was getting annoyed at the little feather brain.
I don't remember.
Tidal chirped. Now back to our race. Run! Tidal yelled a loud wahoo! And Mother Deer bolted off, her tiny jockey bouncing along on her back. Gabby and George peeked out. Well, what's going on? I have no idea, Albert sighed. He wanted to pick up his bucket and trot home to Mother Skunk, task complete, so he could go out and play. But at the same time, leaving the frightened bunnies to maybe or maybe not face Tommy Red Fox alone was really not very fair. Albert sat down to think over the strange situation he suddenly found himself in. He didn't have to sit for long before he heard the snap of a twig as footsteps approached. The bunny twins once again bounded into the thicket as Tommy Red Fox could be seen trotting down the path toward them. The twins froze, as only bunnies can. Albert smiled and tried to look jolly. So good of you to come. Albert greeted the tall young fox. Could you give this pail of water a lift? Albert gestured at the pail the twins had left in the path. Sure, Albert, Tommy smiled. Where are we heading? I need this one delivered to Mrs. Rabbit, and I'm taking this one home to the cave. Albert tried to look casual. With the ease and strength of youth, Tommy swung the pail onto his shoulder and began singing a little tune as they walked along. Kick the pebble down the path as you skip along, tra-la-lee and sing a song. The sun shines high and the days are long, tra-la-lee and sing a song. Albert felt his moon brighten as he joined into the chorus. Tra-la-lee, friends are we, tra-la-lo as we go, tra-la-lack, don't come back until the sun is low, low, low. The boys had learned the song at the Glen School, and the joy in the melody lifted the weight of the water pails. Till before you knew it, They were in front of the hollow at the base of the stately walnut tree where the bunnies made their home. "Hey, thanks a million!" Albert beamed as Tommy swung the bucket from his shoulder. "Sure, happy to help." Tommy's winning smile was genuine. "Well, I'll be off. See you," he waved. Albert stepped up and knocked on Mrs. Rabbit's door. As she swung it open, the still frightened but now also amazed Gabby and George bounded into the safety of their den, almost knocking Mother Rabbit over in their exuberance. They both started talking about what had happened with such speed and excitement, the words were falling over each other in a jumbled mess. Mother Rabbit looked at Albert with a laugh and a "what the heck" expression. Albert just smiled. "I'll leave you to sort it out," he laughed. As he swung his bucket at his side to trot back to the cave, he began a third verse of the song, "Tra-la-lee, sing with glee. Tra-la-lee, sing with glee."
Chapter 19, Tra-la-lee. Discussion and questions. Cooperation. The chapter opens with Albert in awe of the wonders of color. Our earth has so much splendor and beauty. Question 1. What is your favorite color? Question 2. What makes you feel in awe? Albert goes along with the bunny twins to be helpful. He teaches them how to fill their bucket. Question 3. Can you help someone learn a new task? Mother Deer was fulfilling her promise to give Tidal a ride from Chapter 14, Trades. Question 4. Do you have a promise you need to honor and fulfill? The group cooperates to come up with a plan to get the water bucket delivered. Question 5. Does having a group of friends help you to devise creative solutions to life's problems? The bunnies distrust Tommy based only on his being a fox. Question 6. Should we judge each individual for their own unique qualities? Question 7. How did the group cooperate to get the job done? Question 8. How did music help?
I am the composer and performer for all the music in this video. Both audio recordings and the printed scores are available on mybestfriendsliveinthe.woods.com. I will provide the link below. The painted illustrations are also my creation. Prints are available on mybestfriendsliveinthe.woods.com. This is a novel. The chapters are meant to be heard in the order in which they were written. And while each chapter can stand alone, they do build as new characters are introduced and past events are referred to. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. The chapters are numbered, so if you're just joining us, be sure to go back and watch from Chapter 1.
Spirit flies to the pink horizon of the forest, where fairies say, "Come and play," and the animals say, "There's a better